Five.
Thanks. Hello there, and welcome to the Power in the Training and Mastering the Training Center within Workman Success Systems. I am Brooke Sines, an associate broker, team leader, and senior coach with Workman Success, and I'm delighted to be here with you today. As we are going through the webinar, there are a few boxes at the bottom of your screen that I want to be sure to point out to you. First is that little bubble or chat icon for you to enter a question or comment at any time. If I ask for a volunteer or if you have something to add, and by all means, please be sure to share and speak up. If you have something to add, click the raise hand icon. Last, if you have a question you'd like to type into the Q&A box, please do so. I will do my very best to keep an eye on all of these during the webinar and to answer what you ask as quickly as possible. I want to be sure to let you know what our schedule will be like today for this call. So first, I'm going to discuss a lot of information about the Training Center, which is an amazing tool we have at our fingertips for those of you that are Workman coaching clients. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the topics that are covered within each video and why they are helpful, and then we'll hear from one of my own sales partners, our listing partner, to hear about how and why the Training Center is helpful to her. We'll show you some examples, and then we'll end with questions. At the very end, we'll let you know that what your bonus gifts are and for joining us today, and also send you a copy of today's presentation. So please hang out to the very end, and I think that's it. So let's get started. First of all, I'd like to cover what it means to master something. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here a second with you so you can see the PowerPoint that I have. And we'll move on here to, I skipped ahead a little bit. So here we go on mastery. I want to talk about what mastery is and define it. We mentioned it in marketing this webinar and in learning how to master the Training Center. And mastery is a comprehensive knowledge or skill in a subject or accomplishment. It takes lots and lots of practice to get to a point of mastery. We always talk about progress, not perfection here within the Workman Success family. And that's important to remember as we go through our daily activities and develop good habits by etching them into our DNA. Now, if you've ever read The Breakthrough Factor, written by Henry Marsh, you'll know what I'm referring to here. Marsh was an Olympic runner. He was an amazing runner and broke numerous awards and records. He broke the American record for the steeplechase run on 4 different occasions: in 1977, 1980, 1983, and 1985. Marsh didn't focus on being the best. What got him up each day was the desire to beat his own time. He focused on bettering himself and breaking his own record each day. We want to take that same focus and drive for what we do each day in real estate. Here at Workman Success, we have a lot of systems, but let me tell you from experience that there are magic in these systems. These modules within the Training Center have a wealth of information within them. And I'll tell you, whether you are an individual agent or a team leader, this Training Center has all the tools necessary with videos, attachments, reasons why, and more right at your fingertips. So it's up to you to master them. The training modules we are going to review today include, and here's an example of the Training Center here and what it looks like as you get in. The ones that we're going to review today are SLAM, AMP, and BAM. SLAM is Seller Listing Agent Mastery. AMP is Admin Mastery Program. And BAM is Buyer Agent Mastery. So if you have access to the Training Center, this is what it looks like. You also have access to any BAM role play sessions offered every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, and all past BAM sessions, as well as any Workman webinars recorded, Workman wisdoms, and more. These training centers are constantly added to. If you don't have access to the training center, please reach out to us for more information. The training center is available for $97 a month without the bi-monthly coaching add-on. And I know if you subscribe to a year, you do receive 1 month free. So now let's dive in a bit more into each of these programs. First, let's start with AMP, Admin Mastery Program. But it's not just for admin. So if you're an individual agent without an admin, then you are the admin. You should watch these videos. If you are looking to become a team leader, you should watch these videos. And if you are currently a team leader, you should also watch these videos, as well as your admin. If you are looking to hire an admin, or if you are the admin, these modules are created to set you up for success by creating operational excellence. As an admin going through this, it teaches them to focus on the team and what's important behind the scenes. As an agent, team leader, or sales partner, it teaches you what we are teaching your admin, so you're much more prepared to answer any questions and or to work towards growing your team in an intentional, systematic, and successful way. Now, the screenshot here shows you an example of what each module looks like. You'll find a total of 61 videos in AMP, divided into sections on creating operational excellence, managing your CRM, lead management, transaction management, core values, marketing, and more. Each section has several videos explaining how to set up your business in detail in every aspect, from anything from Google Drive to social media to creating action plans within your CRM and more. Next, we have BAM, Buyer Agent Mastery. Now, BAM offers 16 videos and reviews the importance to anyone, whether you are an individual agent or a team leader working with buyers, on how to work with buyers and how to work with buyers that want to buy FSBOs, trying to work with expired listings, and more. This module has items such as the Daily Success Habits Tracker, which we'll get into in a little bit, the business plan, which is great for anyone on your team with setting goals and determining where they want to get to, the lead tracker, the famous LP Mama script, converting internet leads, overcoming objections, buyer agency agreements, and so much more. Again, this is a training system. So if you follow the modules, you should be able to have new and or experienced agents take the training and maybe shadow you a bit, learn how to fill out forms, because we all know we don't learn those in our pre-licensing classes, and ensure they are doing so properly and you have an agent ready to go. Now, if we move on to SLAM, we have it's got to be my favorite of all. I guess since I'm a listing partner, it makes the most sense. But this module is Seller Listing Agent Mastery. And if you follow each and every video to its entirety, look out. You will truly, truly have mastery in being a listing agent. This module covers 30 self-paced videos, and the amount of information and attachments within it are truly one of a kind. The modules include prospecting scripts, how to create a pre-listing process, CRM action plans, a listing presentation to take, edit, and create your own, and so much more. I could spend a whole hour ranting and raving about this module, but I'll try to rein it in for this webinar a bit. Just sit back and imagine sending a 20-page pre-listing booklet before you even go to your listing appointment. You include a handwritten note telling the sellers you are looking forward to meeting them and touring their home, and there, you've already put your best foot forward. You then show up to the listing presentation with a small flower pot or some sort of gift to give them as you walk in, telling them how beautiful their home is. And I have to say, I mean, come on now, my mom taught me to never go to someone's home empty-handed. So I have to bring something. It's a little joke around my office too, that in my listing photos, people actually look for my flower pot. And in most cases, it's the centerpiece on the dining room table in the listing photos. So you get to the listing appointment, you bring a small gift, you tour their home, you review your amazing listing presentation with them, and then the real work begins. Once you get the listing, there's even more work to be done, as most of us know. From stagers to photographers to IVR call capture writers and more, this module covers more than A to Z in everything having to do with the pre-listing process. Now, let me tell you, you've heard enough about me, about these systems. So I want to introduce my amazing listing partner, Amber Wagner. Amber is also with Grand Allure Home Group with RE/MAX of Grand Rapids, and I am going to try and unmute her so we can get her on with us. Does anyone have any questions at this point? If so, please go ahead and type in the Q&A box. Let me see in the meantime if I have any questions up so far. Don't see anything in here. And let me see. Trying to figure out how to get Amber on here so she can share with us. Nikki did ask if we have any training for commercial brokers by chance. And I'll go ahead and just answer this instead of in the question box. I'll just answer it live for you. We don't have anything specifically for commercial brokers, but everything that we do offer can be relayed in any aspect of real estate or any, I mean, a lot of these things can be offered in many different sales positions. I know my husband always takes a look at what I'm doing and wants to relay it in his business, which he's in sales, but selling database management systems. So hopefully that answers your question, Nikki, that what I would do is just take any of this and just gear it towards what you do in your business and how you run your business, and it can be molded to work along any of the different aspects or roles that we play in real estate. Now let me see, hopefully that answers your question. If there's any other questions, please be sure to let me know. I am going to, for some reason, I'm not able to get Amber on right now, or I'm not seeing her as available. So I will keep trying to do that. In the meantime, I know that she really wanted to talk about how much within the Workman systems, how much the lead tracker helped her. And she wanted to talk about why and tell us some examples. So I'll work on getting her on. Here's a picture of Amber, and let's move on to lead management and where you would actually find that in the lead tracker. So what you would do is go into this AMP. Let me see right here. You've got the AMP lead tracking, so you can see that if you were looking for information on the lead tracker, you would go to this video here in the AMP video, and you would do the lead tracking video on section 3 on lead management. This is an example of what our team lead tracker looks like, one of mine actually. So as you can see going through here, you can put the information. You're going to list the rating, whether it's an A client, which means they already have an appointment, a B client, which means that we're going to call them twice a month, once the week of the 1st and then the week of the 15th, or a C client, which means that they are more than 90 days out of purchasing a home, and we want to reach out to them once a month, and that'll be the week of the 8th. If you do have any questions while I'm going through this, please feel free to let me know. This is, as you have leads coming in, I can tell you when I first started as an agent, it was really difficult to have all the gum wrappers in my car with notes on the back of them or sticky notes all over my desk. And so having this lead tracker and being able to keep the detailed information that is here at your fingertips, it's amazing to have. Let me see if I can pull, if we can find Amber here and get her on. For some reason, I'm not seeing Amber on. So what I'll do, if there's anyone else on the call that wants to maybe raise your hand and share how the lead tracker works for you, I would absolutely welcome your take on it, so everyone doesn't have to listen to me the whole call about my love for these systems. Buster did ask me what type of headset I have, and it is a Jabra Evolve 65 headset. So hopefully that helps.
Hey, Brooke.
Okay. Hi there, Charlene. How are you?
Good. One thing the lead tracker revealed to me is how many leads I'm not converting. So do you have any advice or guidance for that?
So explain to me a little bit more. So you put your leads into the lead tracker and you're not converting those leads in the lead tracker is what you're saying?
Yeah, to me personally, it just showed how many I was let fall through the cracks and how I wasn't using the systems to the full effect. So I'm working on that with my team and organizing and following B leads called this many times. But do you have any other advice, or just stick to the system and the conversions will grow?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So I absolutely think that as far as advice there, I mean, one of the things that really worked well for my team is to set an ideal time where it worked for all of us to meet at the office and say, okay, we're going to be calling our A, B, or C, or calling our B or C leads at this day and time. So what we do as a team is we all get together Wednesday typically it's 10:30 a.m. We do a little scripts and dialogue role play, and then at 11 a.m. every Wednesday, we call whatever lead we're meant to call for that week. So we actually did it earlier today because it's the week of the 8th. We called our C leads. And so that kind of helped as accountability to ensure that everyone is calling them as frequently as we're supposed to. I mean, we all know that the C leads can turn into an A lead overnight. So, I mean, they go to one open house and, you know, they get that showing on, or that new listing alert on Zillow. They go to an open house and all of a sudden they have to have it. So they jump on right away, and they'll end up purchasing a home. So what we do is if we be a little bit more intentional about holding each other accountable to those, and then really if it is a conversion issue and you are reaching out to them, you know, twice a month for B leads or once a month for C leads, then we kind of want to dive into what's being said, whether you're texting or this is a voice call or a voice message or an email, and just evaluate that a little bit. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you. And I've I think it's my consistency and then not doing all three. So if I called and left a voicemail, then I didn't email or text. So yeah, thank you. That was helpful.
Okay, great. Yeah, and what I like to do too is keep notes of off to the note section all the way to the right. I mean, you can put as many notes as you want in there. So if you make a note, you know, maybe you call today and you put 5/9/2018, left a message. And then the next time you go in there, maybe the next time you want to send them a text. And so you have the information right at your fingertips stating, last time I called and left a message, this time I want to text, and so on. And I love that area for the notes to be able to do that too.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm wearing my Jabra Evolve 75.
Good. I'm glad you like it. It's nice. I love it, and it's noise canceling too. So, well, thanks for your question. Does that answer? Does that help?
Yes, it does. I'm taking notes now.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Sherlyn. I do have another question from Cindy too, asking how does Lead Tracker work with Sphere of Influence and Top 50, and are they the same contacts you have on multiple areas? We actually, these are separate areas. Of course, if you have someone in your Sphere of Influence or in your Top 50 that are looking to purchase a home, and you can classify them as an A, B, or C client, then by all means put them into the Lead Tracker. If they are, if you're a Workman client, you have access to our Top 50 tracker, and I highly recommend using that, and you can personalize it to however it best works for you. I know my team, with being 50 people to reach out to each month, my team decides to divide it up and call 12 to 13 people out of the top 50 each week, and thus you hit your 50. And so as we go through on that top 50 tracker, it's a spreadsheet that we can easily go through and just put an X in each month across the board throughout the year to ensure that we've reached out to them. Your sphere of influence, you want to reach out to the week of the 22nd. And that's very important. So hopefully you have a CRM or some way that you are able to stay in touch with your sphere of influence and reach out to them that way. Hopefully that answers you, Cindy. We have a couple hands raised, so let me get Vasanti in here a second. Vasanti, are you with us? Can you hear? Or are you able to speak? I see you have your hand raised, so. Let me try to unmute you here. You might have to unmute yourself. It shows you're unmuted on my end. Vasanti, are you with us? Okay, we may have a little issue. Vasanti, if you're able to, if you have a question, please feel free to type it in the chat box if you want to add anything. And I know Linda had something too, so let's see if Linda wants to add or has a question here. Hi, Linda.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, how are you?
Good, how are you? I think I missed the first portion that you were explaining about the lead trackers. Is it just like something like Excel that you enter all the information?
It is kind of like an Excel spreadsheet. I mean, it's an amazing Excel spreadsheet. It actually has, it's a glorified one. That is a Workman Success Systems tool. So what you do is we have the ratings in there as well as the client name, phone number, email information, and then we also keep track of the lead date, the first contact date, scheduled touch, client type, source, etc. And one of the best parts about it is we can track where these leads are coming from and their potential value or revenue to us. And then also we can keep track of notes. So a lot of times I like to put in there, this person is looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Kentwood, Michigan, pre-approved through XYZ mortgage company, and kids' names are John and Paul. And that way, each time I reach out to them, I can make sure to mention their kids' names, or I know what their search is for, what they're looking for. And then also, it's great as some of our agents, if we ever want to go on vacation or anything, we can easily go in and really, I mean, I don't want to say just take over for the other agent, but we really can step in and help quite a bit if we have their leads and they can say, hey, get in my lead tracker. I just received a text from Sean Harris and he wants to look at a house, and we're able to get in there and see if they're pre-approved and what their value is, and see their phone number and email and such.
So is it connected to any other sources, just like a Boomtown or Zillow, to other sources, contact information that it comes, keep track of everything, automatically leads it to the lead trackers, or we have to manually enter our leads?
This is a manual enter, and you really want it this way. I mean, if you're using a Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or some sort of high volume lead generation platform, those leads aren't always, I mean, I'm sure, as you know, they're not always living, breathing people ready to buy homes. And some of them are going to be, you know, give you false emails, false phone numbers and such. So what I like to do personally is I keep them in my Commissions Inc. or Boomtown platform. And then once they kind of raise their hand or I have a conversation with them, I know what they're looking for and have validated them as a lead, then I will put them into the lead tracker. So it is manual entry, but that way I think it's just better because you have accurate information.
Okay, I see. Thank you so much.
Does that help?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, wonderful. Basanti, if you still have a question, please feel free to speak up and I can help you with that or answer any questions you have too. What I'm going to do is go ahead and move on to show you a little bit more here about the lead tracker and what it looks like. So it shows you, this is where the lead tracker, when I say it's a glorified Excel spreadsheet, it definitely is. So it takes you one step further, and all of the information that you include in that spreadsheet is going to break down into how many leads you have, the potential revenue value of the leads, the average value of the leads. You can look at your lead source, your number of leads, your percentages, and then you can see it in a pie chart as well if you'd like, and where the leads are coming from. So this is information that it talks to the lead tracker, and that's again another reason that it's great for the manual entry, because you put the information in there and it automatically pulls over into these awesome graphs and charts for you. Now, I know one of the other items that Amber mentioned that is one of her favorite tools, and I guess I don't want to call it her favorite because I know she said that she has a, I guess we'll call it a love-hate relationship with them, because she knows that every time she does the daily success habits, she starts seeing results. But it's one of those things that I think many of us who aim for our 61 points on our daily success habits a day are always aiming for that, but it can be difficult in some days. So You can find the daily success habits in BAM session 1, as seen here. And what you do is you would click on that actual session. And again, we're talking about the training center today. So I want to make sure that I'm showing all of you how to get to some of these different sessions. And each one of these is going to cover information about why it's important. It's going to give you the attachments, like I mentioned from the very beginning, and it'll tell you how to do it. So this one here is BAM session 1 is the daily success habits. And this is what the daily success habits tracker looks like. The way it works is the dials across the top keeps track of how many phone calls you make. And we do have a way that you can do this either manually print out the blank form, or you can do it in a fillable PDF form. But on the dials, you would put a slash mark or a hash mark in there for each call you make. And if you connect with someone, you would click it again, or you would put another line across to make it an X. And that says that you got in touch with someone. You actually made you made a contact with them. So you can easily keep track of how many dials you have throughout the day. You can track if you made 50 dials, maybe you reached 10 people through that amount of time. And then you can see your 61 points of rhythm there in the column in the middle, and that's where you're tracking the dials or the calls from up above. You're tracking how many emails or text messages you sent out, handwritten notes, showing homes to clients. And these 61 points of rhythm are all money-making activities that we want to focus on through the day. So if you are showing 2 homes to 1 client, you get 10 points. If you only show 1 home, it would be worth half that, so it would be worth 5. You have your buyer listing appointment. So if you have a new buyer appointment or a listing appointment, it's worth 10. A buyer or listing agreement, so either a buyer agency agreement or a listing appointment, or a listing agreement, then that's worth 10. For every offer you write, that's worth 10. Of course, we want to celebrate the closings, and that's worth 15. Open houses are worth 10. Door knocking, so for any door knocking that you do, that's worth 1 per house. One more thing, one more time, and that is at the end of the day when you've made your 50 calls and everyone else says, I've made my 50 calls, it's time to go home, you be the one that just makes 1 more call. And a lot of times you'll be surprised how successful that last call can be for you. And then role play. So like I mentioned, our team role plays on Wednesdays. We do our scripts and dialogues right before we make our calls to our leads in our lead tracker. And that role play script is worth 10 points. So through a variety of different calculations, you can do a variety of these different 61 points of rhythm items and have it add up to 61. And hey, if you end up at 71 or 101, keep it going. These are money-making activities. So the activity tracker off to the left side is meant to do just that, meant to track your activity. So as you're going through the day and you list what you are actually doing throughout the day, it's easy for you to go back and see if you're actually doing what we deem as fake work, or if you were prospecting and doing listing appointments and actually doing those money-making activities. Now, in that top right section, you can see where there's prospecting times, and there's session 1 and session 2. So let's say in this example, this person called from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m., called for a total of 60 minutes, and then did another session, started at 4 p.m., ended at 5 p.m., did another 60 minutes, and that shows 120 minutes or 2 hours of prospecting time for that person for that day, which is phenomenal. And then at the bottom, you can keep track of your prospecting totals. So how many contacts you made on those calls, how many appointments you set, listing appointments, lender appointments, and so on. The other part of this that is missing at the bottom of this tracker is the notes section, and I love that part. So as you're making these calls and you're coming up with items that you may have to do, or you talk to a prospect doing those prospecting times, and they say, yes, I'd love you to set me up on a search. I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. Go ahead and put that in the notes section so you are not stopping yourself from making additional prospecting calls. Stay on the track of making those calls and keep picking up the phone and dialing. So make a note to yourself to go back in that note section and set up that search after your prospecting time is done. Any questions on that? I don't see anything so far. So please remember, for anyone that has hopped on a little late, if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box or in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. Then we'll move on. One of the other items that when we talk about the Power in the Training Center, this SLAM video, like I said before, SLAM, the Seller Listing Agent Mastery Program, is my favorite of all. Video 19 is amazing. It covers, its title is Open Houses on Steroids, and it truly is. As you go through, there's a huge amount of information here on how to run your open house and putting 10, 20, or 30 open house signs out. It gives you an action plan on what to do and when to effectively market your open house and more. Something that I haven't even, well, I'll go back real fast here, and you can see at the bottom where there are the different documents or attachments. So all of these videos within the training center, whether it's the AMP program, BAM, or SLAM, have attachments to the videos. This one here has the Open House on Steroids document, has the open house invitation, the open house sign example, how to initiate it, the action plan, which is here. So this is an example of, if you click that open house initiation plan, this action plan comes up that shows you what to do and what days to do it. So you talk about scheduling the date and time of the open house, and item number 2 here is contact the seller to set or confirm the open house day and time. And then you email open house schedule to all team members after the seller confirms. You can fill out the neighborhood street invite form and give it to the assistant to let all the neighbors know that the home's going on the market or that you're doing an open house. And hey, they say most people want they reach out to friends and family to move into the area, move into their neighborhood, or live nearby. And so take advantage of that and tell them to bring their friends and family and walk through them. Oh, Chris, I see your comment here. Your DSH looks different. There have been some different updates to the Daily Success Habits Tracker as we've gone through and have gotten some great feedback from agents across the country that coach with us. So if you would like, I had mentioned at the beginning of this call that we do have the I don't think I told you, but now I'm letting out a little leak here. The Daily Success Habits Tracker is going to be one of our freebies, one of our bonus materials at the end of the call. So stay on the call. I'll let you know how to download that and what website to go to do that. And hopefully that'll help. Then going through, additionally, with the open house initiation plan, you're adding the open house to your calendar. You're creating the open house folder, the open house info sheet. And this information is just amazing to have, to be able to put into place each time you schedule an open house. And these action plans are available to be uploaded into Top Producer, into some other CRMs that you may be working with, and it'll automatically come up and list a to-do list, really, for you to keep track of these. And as I said, that's just one of the many attachments. If you look in that bottom right-hand corner of this open house on steroids video or module, you can see that that's one of the attachments there. So another thing that I haven't even begun to touch on yet is the Workman Wisdoms. These are snippets, otherwise referred to sometimes as vignettes, that Verl is sharing wisdom on. These topics include everything from splits with buyer's agents to handling objections, prospecting, and more. And I guess I should go back. They're not, I don't think they're all Verl speaking. Some of them are different coaches that have gotten on and have given some great information on their own Workman Wisdoms. You can see here in this screen that the different topics are handling objections, episode 29, prospecting, it's good for your clients, your opinion matters to you. So it's just great information for you to have at your fingertips. And again, speaking of great information to have and how to do it, well, let me just show you here quickly. If you click on one of those, you can see episode 29, prospecting, it's good for your clients. And this is just a quick 6-minute and 39-second video on prospecting and how to prospect, and how Verl talks about how it's only going to impact your business. Never will prospecting negatively impact your business. And this one here features one of our awesome master coaches, Cleve Gaddis. Now, a little trick that I'll let you all in on, speaking of mastering the training center, if you don't want to go through and memorize where all these videos are in each one of these sections, whether it's AMP, SLAM, or BAM, you can go up here, like we have the screenshot, you can go into the training center and type in where that search icon is with the magnifying glass. Let's say you want to search for role play. If you type role play into that search icon, and again, this is going to be for Workman coaching clients that have access to this training center. If you do not have access to this training center, please feel free to put your information in the chat box or let us know after the call if you want to talk to one of our business consultants. But if you type in role play here, you'll see that it'll bring up every and any video that has the topic of role play in it. So you can see our buyer agent mastery video here. There's a session, the main course, that talks about role play. There's a weekly role play session. There's all the 2017 weekly role play sessions. Those are the different courses. And then you go below and there's 67 sessions found on role play. And those are going to go through all the videos, all the webinars that we do, all the role plays are recorded. So you can get in and you can listen to what others had to say. Maybe they had the same questions as you. You can also search things in there, such as if you were to put prospecting into the search bar, or buyer's agents or listings, and a ton of material and information will come up in all of these areas for you. Now I want to get to just see if anyone has any questions at all. Chet, if you're still here with me, I think Amber may be on, but I'm not able to unmute her, or maybe she's a co-presenter with me. So I'm not sure if you're able to help me out there and get her added to the call.
We are we're working to get that happening. Unfortunately, we're experiencing some technical difficulties on our side.
Oh, okay. No problem at all. I think I let everyone in on kind of the things that she loves and talking about the DSH and the lead tracker. I know some of these things, and I don't want to talk for Amber, but I know one of the clients, one of the stories that she wanted to mention is in the lead tracker. We had a lead that had come in. She had touched base with him one time, had a quick conversation that yes, he may be looking for a home at some point down the road. And then he kind of went cold on her. So she kept reaching out, and it was a C lead. So she would go through and call him once a month. Every week of the 8th, she would call. And on that 8th month, she finally reached him, and he said, "Oh yeah, actually, I have a house that I want to write an offer on." And she went and met him at his house, wrote an offer on that property that was accepted. And then she has since then listed his son's piece of land. She has since sold that home and helped him move into another one. And I believe she was also referred to another family member. So staying in touch with these leads and these prospects, and ensuring that we're not forgetting about them. And I would recommend, I talk to a lot of my coaching clients daily about setting that lead tracker up as one of your internet homepages. So when I open Google Chrome for the day, you will see that, of course, Facebook comes up because I just have to know what's going on in the world. But I'll open up Facebook. It has my other home pages are the Workman Training Center, so Workbench. It also has lead tracker that just comes up on the individual page. And so to have that come up, I don't close any of those windows until I'm technically done with them. So it'll remind me, oh yeah, I have to enter my leads for the last 24 hours. I'll enter them in, put in as much information as I have, and then when I'm done, I can go ahead and close that window. And that way, seeing it on a daily basis and having it open up each time I open my internet browser keeps it top of mind for me. And that way I don't lose leads, and I don't have a million sticky notes around my desk or gum wrappers or notes in my car all over like I used to do when I first started. And I'm sure many of you do as well. But being able to put them in the lead tracker, it's an amazing way to keep track of all of those people that we touch base with and we talk to, and we don't want anything that we've done to get those leads or any money to slip through the cracks. And that's kind of how we can stay in touch with them. A lot of times people will ask me, for a B lead, how do you reach out to them twice a month? What could you possibly have to say? And a lot of times it's just reaching out and saying, hey, Sherry, I just wanted to make sure that the home search that I have you set up on is what you need. And if you need any criteria changed or anything, please let me know. I know you said you're maybe 30 to 60 days out from purchasing a home, but I want you to know that I'm here with you. Now, Mara just asked what a B lead is again. And so a B lead is someone that is looking to buy within, let's say, the next 30 to 90 days. So they may not be an A lead. They may not be someone that's ready to go immediately, but they're going to be ready to go here pretty quickly. So that would be a 30 to 90 day lead. And we put them in as a B lead, and we talk to them every other week. So we talk to them the week of the 1st and the week of the 15th. And as I was saying, just a quick reach out. Hey, I just want to make sure I'm not dropping the ball and reaching out to you, or that you don't want to change your criteria, your search criteria, or if you have any questions or need an updated pre-approval letter, please let me know. I know I've shared a ton of information today with all of you, so we're getting wrapped up here. If anyone has any questions, please be sure to type them in or raise your hand so I can unmute you and answer anything that comes to mind. As a quick thank you for joining us today on this call, please see the bonus gifts you are able to receive. So you can go to workmansuccess.com/trainingmaster. And I'll try to save this slide on the screen for a few minutes for you to jot it down. At this link, you'll receive a daily success habits tracker form, the LP Mama script, and that's what we refer to as the magic script. So any buyer lead that comes in, and you can use it for sellers as well, but you want to take them through the LP Mama script. And LP Mama stands for location, price, motivation. If they're working with another agent, the M is mortgage, so are they pre-approved for a mortgage? And the A is appointment, so ask for the appointment. And it's crazy, but I constantly, when I get a new, when my phone rings and it's a new call, I'm going through the LP Mama script in my head. If you get a new lead on the phone, go through the LP Mama script. Even if someone calls on a listing and it's your listing and you know hands down every bit of information about that listing, just kind of delay it a minute and let them know, oh yeah, well I looked that up. Let me go through and just ask you some questions. Is that the location that you're looking at? Do you like Kentwood? Is that the area that you want to be in? And oh, you know, what sort of price point? This home looks to be priced around $150. Is that the price you were thinking? And well, why are you moving? What's your motivation? Have you know, any of these homes that you have possibly gotten in and seen? How have you done that? Are you going through open houses? Are you working with an agent? Have you been pre-approved and talk about a mortgage? Or can I help set you up with one of my lender partners to talk to and help? And then ask for the appointment. So I have a bunch of educational information and materials that I'd love to review with you. Is there a time that we can sit down and either grab coffee, you can come to my office, whatever is most convenient for you, and go through the LP Mama script. It's amazing to be able to have that in your mind as you're going through and asking someone questions. Then you're not fumbling. I know when I first became an agent and someone would call and say, I want information on looking at houses, I would be like, okay, yeah, what area are you looking in? And try to start asking questions. But if you can think LP Mama in your mind and go through that, that's going to be much more valuable, and you'll feel much more confident. And the caller, the other person on the other line, will feel your confidence or sense that as well. The other things that we're offering today is the buyer-seller lead sheet. And those, again, are my favorite to have readily available to grab when a buyer or seller prospect calls for information. So those lead sheets, they are blue for buyers or green for sellers. And what I love is it just kind of takes you through, it walks you through that LP Mama script, but it's a nice form for you to complete. So as you're going through asking those questions, you can put that information, fill it right in there. I always have, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but right next to my desk, I always have the seller information sheet. As I said before, I primarily work with sellers and am a listing agent. So I go through and put the information in as far as the criteria they're looking for, what updates they've done to their home, why are they selling, who is on title, the price point, if they have any idea what their home is currently worth. Most times they're going to tell you what their estimate is, but it's great to have this and be able to go through it, and then again to set the appointment and ask for it. The last thing here, we also have offered today a free disc assessment. So if you want to click that link and take the disc assessment, which tells you if you're a D, an I, an S, or a C. And I love reading through, I mean, it's about 40 pages of information about you and how people can best work with you. Also, we're offering a free business consult. So if you would like to talk to one of our awesome people in the office about what it would be like to work with Workman or get access to this training center, then please feel free to reach out and let us know. Other than that, I don't see any other questions that have come up. I will keep this on the screen for a moment, but if there is anything, please feel free to raise your hand or type them in the chat box. And other than that, I think we can call it a day with this webinar. I really appreciate everyone being on and joining us today. Hopefully you learned a little bit of more information, hopefully a lot, but if you have a little bit to take away in how to master the training center and all the wonderful tools that we have, then that would be, that I met my goal for the day. So I appreciate you being a part of the webinar today. Let me just make sure I don't have any other chats here, but we have Amber now, so we'll have to get her on the next webinar with us. Thanks, Chet and Amber, for making that work. And I'm so appreciative, like I said, of all of you being on and making the time to talk with us today and hear this information in this webinar. So have a great day. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.